Hey, yo, what up? It's Kevin Lawson with KVL Media. I have a special guest in the KVL Media studio today. We're talking about the battle for hope. And she's an author, a YouTube host, public speaker, just an overall extraordinary young lady. Thank you so much. And she already messing things up. She about to get fired.
Look, it's okay. I don't get fired. I
But
hire.
I'm in the KVL Media studio with
Yvonne Belcher.
Yvonne Belcher is in the KVL Media studio today.
That's right. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, this is another episode of the Art of Storytelling podcast, and of course, we have to have a author in the building to not only kind of tell your story, but also how you work with other people as well to kind of coach them through hard times and help them share their story and be open and honest about what we're going through and how we can put God first to be able to do all those kind of things, man. So,
Absolutely.
So Yvonne, what's your story?
So my story is I'm a young girl from Philly, originally born and raised. I always have to follow that up with on the playground. Where I was
my days chilling out, maxing, relaxing,
all right,
cool,
don't go there
shooting
now.
some people outside of
school
school
with a couple of guys. They was up to no good. Look,
started
I
shooting
in my neighborhood.
Okay, well, little,
and my mom got scared and said, "Move with your auntie in
Uncle
Oakland, Bel Air. Come on, we can do it all day. We can do it all day." From
okay.
Philly, born and raised. Came to South Florida in the late 90s. And started my life, built a family, and dealt with a lot of adversity. Product of the foster care system. Inner city. Philadelphia. My mom thought she was doing the best thing by moving us down south. So there was a lot of adversities, but not a lot of horror stories. I've definitely been a recipient of the grace of God all my life. Even my foster home ended up being my adopted family, and lived with them for years. They were extremely good people to me, raised me well, and so now I have two families. I always say double grace. God restored, my relationship with my natural family and gave me a bonus family. And so I've always been a recipient of that grace. Went into corporate America after high school, made a lot of good money.
There we go.
And then found out I climbed the ladder on the wrong wall.
That's deep.
Yeah, climbed the ladder on the wrong wall. And in about 2019, I said, this is not what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. It wasn't an environment that I wanted to be in. I found out why they called it a plantation, and it just wasn't for me. And so in 2019, when God spoke to me and said, leave and go back to school, I said, devil, get behind me. It's like, right, I don't have a high school diploma and I'm making all this money. But it was actually that thing in my heart, and it wouldn't let go. And so I left corporate America, started a business, realized I didn't know anything about running a business. And so I went back to school. It took me 20 years to get a 2-year degree. And
It'd be like that sometimes.
bro, I was that's a story in itself. One of my first classes, my professor and I graduated high school together. And, just being in that space where I had to humble myself and go back and finish something that I had started 20 years prior. But I wasn't ready. And ended up not going back, finishing that degree, but getting another one as well. And came out of that, decided I was ready to start a business. And life gut punched me. And I had to write about it. And so that's where we get the battle for hope.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different nuances in that story that you just told me, and I want to kind of touch on it a little bit. But one of the new things that we're doing with the podcast is we're the last guest. They ask the question of the new guest to kind of set the stage for the interview.
Okay, cool.
All right, so you open for that?
Shoot, I'm ready.
All right, so last time we had Kevin Brown with Rolling Sticks, and his question was, if you die today, who and what will keep your legacy going and empower your estate?
Wow. That's a great question. Well, first and foremost, the first answer that honestly comes to mind is my son.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about me, even though I'm young, I pour into the lives of a lot of people. Yeah. I do operate in ministry, and I've been in ministry since I was 22. Mm-hmm. And I've had a lot of people, even people that are older than I am. Yeah. I had the opportunity just to be able to pour into their lives. Mm-hmm. And so I think that every life that I touch, including, I only have one natural child, yeah. But in some way, even in my younger years, I've always been able to mother people. Mm-hmm. And pour into them, help yeah. them reach their goals, help them reach their dreams, help them develop themselves, mm-hmm. whether it's spiritually or personally, through some of the courses I do on public speaking and all yeah. of those things, or even in business, just encouraging people to be everything yeah. that God put you here to be, you know. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if I was to die today, there would be many people like that, including my baby, who gets the most. Yeah. Who says, you know what, she impacted my life, and I'm going to take what she poured into me, and I'm going to make sure I deposit it into the lives of other people. So
that's amazing, man. That's a lot of what you said ties together in faith and family and mm-hmm. things like that, and mm-hmm. It's good to know that the work that you're doing will be carried on mm-hmm. in that type of way. And so typically how I go into these conversations is I like to use a framework. Right?
Okay.
And it's part of my idea blueprint framework. Okay. And the first thing is identity. So you already told me like who you are and where mm-hmm. you came from and everything like that. Who would you say is mostly the people that you help serve?
Honestly, whoever's in front of me, whatever yeah. assignment I have for that day. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I always believe your first assignment and your first obligation is to those who are within immediate reach. Mm-hmm. So that would be my husband and my son. Yeah. Anything that I do, I can't give the world anything that I'm not giving to the mm-hmm. people that have to endure me yeah. on a daily basis. Yeah. So I definitely impact my husband and my son. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's anybody in front of me. Yeah. Like I'll walk up to somebody that's homeless at Dunkin' Donuts, be like, "Bro, what'd you eat today?" Yeah. That's my assignment for the day. My friends, for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of them by choice. Yeah. But those who I do choose to do life with, mm-hmm. I'm gonna give them the best of me. Even in conversations like this, you and I just met a few days ago, and, right. and you know, feels like home in a sense, you know. But even people that I just meet every day. So really, mm-hmm. whoever's in front of me, I'm gonna show up, and it is my purpose to show up and give you the best of what I have. Yeah. And if there's any need that you have, whether it be a natural need or a spiritual need or mm-hmm. even a psychological need, whatever it is, if I can meet it, I'm gonna do my best to meet that need.
Man, and helping people fulfill their needs and kind of whatever problems that they might be facing and providing a solution is really essential mm-hmm. in spreading a message. What was it that drove you to share this message, the Book for Hope?
So the Battle for Hope,
or the Battle for Hope, the Book for Hope, yeah, the Battle for Hope,
the book, the Hope book,
the book, yeah.
This is the Hope book. So yeah, the Battle of Hope came out of a season in my life where, honestly, being a person of faith, mm-hmm. I win a lot. I see God show up a lot, and this message came out of a time of my life where during COVID, my mother-in-law, who is a nurse, mm-hmm. Helping other people, healing other people, contracted COVID herself. Oh, no. And never in a million years would, sweetest lady, you know, most people don't have that story that they actually love their mother-in-laws and their mother-in-laws, but sweet lady. And she ended up passing away from COVID suddenly, like from, I saw her a week literally to the day that she passed. And that was a gut punch, you know, and especially when you're a person like me who lives your life to serve other people and live your life to try to bring light and love mm-hmm. into a dark world. And you feel like, well, God, what had happened? Yeah. You know, like, well, wait, did you fall asleep, Lord? Yeah. You know, and And the book honestly just came out of my journey with that. We talked about this a little earlier, but I am a firm believer in you do not have the authority to teach something that you yourself have no personal knowledge of, right? I can't tell you how to be a millionaire, and I cannot manage the $5 I got in my pocket, you know?
Exactly.
So this book came out of that. I got the title in 2019.
Okay.
And of course, the immediate thought was after 2020 and we get hit with COVID, the immediate thought was, oh, that's why I got that idea.
Yeah.
Because it's COVID and people need hope. My mother-in-law didn't die until we were all well into the height of COVID.
Into the height of it.
And so while I got the title in 2019, I didn't get the knowledge to really share with people what it means to be resilient in the midst of a hopeless journey or a hopeless place. I didn't get that until probably 2 or 3 years later.
It's interesting when you get this spark of an idea and you don't see it clearly as possible, but then the purpose of that idea will show itself. In hindsight, as they say, is 2020. So, well, COVID was 2020, but we ain't gonna go there. But
I'm sorry. I'm silly. I'm silly though. I would laugh your whole podcast for real.
But yeah, man. So it's interesting looking back on that to be like, yo, I've had this idea. This seed was planted long before I even knew why I was really meant to create this, and taking that together and sharing that message. But where do you want to take that message? Where do you want to kind of like spread the knowledge that you got from what you learned to help with other people as well? How do you want to take that and expand on that message, or if you do?
No, absolutely. I didn't write the book for people to not read it. You know, so I really want to reach people. I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
Right. And so I believe in reaching people in the gutter. You know, I'm not now. God has taken me to some amazing places, but I'm always down to reach in the gutter and get the thing that has the dirt on it and brush it off. You know, I want people who really find themselves in a place where they're like, I'm done. I gave it my best shot. You know, I did what I was supposed to do, and it still didn't work. Those are the people that I want to reach. I want to because usually those are the people who have so much more in them, and if given the second win or the second chance, they're gonna take it and they're gonna fly. They're gonna soar with it, right? And so I'm not here for the cute. I'm not here for the people that got it all together and all the people that got all the right answers. No, I'm here for the people that's still trying to figure it out. And they might be questioning God or asking God questions, because I believe there's a difference between asking God questions and questioning God, you know.
What's the difference?
Well, if you look at scripture, right, you see Mary. The angel comes to her and be like, chick, you about to have a whole baby, but you're not going to have sex. She asks a question. How is this going to happen? Right? And then you have people like old dude in the Bible who the angel comes to him and says, hey, your wife's going to have a baby, even though she's like 80,000 years old. And he says, no way. Tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me how, you know, he doesn't say, tell me how this is going to happen. He's like, no, I don't think this can happen. So in that point, he's questioning God's ability to do the impossible. Where Mary said, oh, I believe you can do the impossible. How you going to do it?
How you going to do it?
Yeah. So to me, I want to reach those who are asking God questions. Why do good things happen to bad people? Why did my mama die? When I got 10 sleazes over here, I could have gave you any 10 of them, you know. Why do you know? So I want to reach those people who have those questions, who find themselves in hopeless situations, and you may not have any light in that situation, or you don't think God is in that situation with you. Those are the people that I want to reach with this message.
That's interesting. Like, in those situations, like, what do you think the answers are that people are looking for?
I think the answer is to ask the right questions, right? I think a lot of times we ask God why, right? When we should be maybe asking him, who are you? Who am I that you feel like I can go through this? What do you see in me that I don't see in myself yet? And then who are you that you would let me go through this? Because you're the only person that can bring me through it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I believe every hardship, wrapped in the pain, wrapped in the adversity, there's an opportunity for us to get to know something about ourselves and something about God. Even if we're not religious, he don't care about that, right? He don't care if you go to church every Sunday. He just want to know you. He just want to be a part of your life. And the main part. But I think it's an opportunity for us to get to know him in a way that we never experienced him before, and to find out just how near and sufficient he is, so that we can just share our story with somebody else that might be going through the same thing.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, it's not the conversation that we're having right now. So how can you help people understand, like, the answer might come in different ways, like, and how they recognize those answers?
I think the key to hearing answers from an invisible God, gotta be open. Yeah. You gotta be open. I think a lot of, and I don't like church bashing. I love the church, right? Yeah. But I think a lot of church people, a lot of religious people make us feel like God only come one way. Yeah. Like he's in this little box of your understanding. Yeah. Then he's not God.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And so, right.
Hopefully, I don't get canceled on my own show.
Cancel me. I'll come.
Nah, don't cancel me. Don't cancel me.
Cancel me. I'll still be cool with no fan base. No, I'm just kidding. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me either. But I think not putting God in a box, not putting limitations on God or yourself. Yeah. You just got to be open. Yeah. Bro, God can speak to me through a wino if I'm open. Yeah. You know, he can speak to me through circumstances. Yeah. You know why you broke? Because you keep popping tags. Yeah. Stop buying everything you see. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to be open. I always make this comment. In the Bible, it says that God spoke to a whale and told him to spit Jonah out. In the New Testament, it says that Jesus spoke to a fig tree and told it to dry up from the roots, and it dried up by the next morning. If God can speak, my favorite, God speaks to a donkey and loosens the donkey's mouth so that the donkey actually speaks word to somebody that God was trying to block his way. If God can speak to a donkey, a fig tree, and a whale, why would he not use circumstances to speak to me? Why would he not use my mama or my husband? My husband's watching this now. Don't take that around. Like, don't take that around. Like, why would he not use the unusual? You know, we can't put limitations on ourselves and God to say, the only time he'll speak to me is in church. Yeah. It's asinine.
Man, it's interesting because I'm still on my journey as well. And I think I might have told you that whenever I remember to pray and I ask God for clarity, for vision, for understanding, and I thank him for my breath, my life, my shelter, my food, and everything like that. When I tell you that clarity comes to me in no longer than 24 hours, whether it's through a conversation, a relationship, a social media post,
a song,
yeah, just something, a thought, a dream. I really and truly believe that God is just wanting you to ask.
Absolutely.
He's just wanting you to ask and ask him for that guidance and ask him for that support. Yeah, man. It's everything that you said. Yes. And I again not wanting to be canceled, but I do think that um, a lot of ego and pride get in the way of the connection with God. This all powerful being, you know, and people can receive His message and His grace in so many different ways. Um, yeah, man, that's deep. I'm not gonna go too deep into it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
That's I'm like an ocean, bro.
yeah. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I do. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot of moving parts. So getting that message in front of the right people, you know, being able to educate people, being able to share these stories of Jonah and Mary and all these different things. And some people may or may not be receptive when you start talking about religion. How do you go about creating these engaging conversations to where, one, you can identify people that are open to having the conversation, and two, being able to deliver it in a way that people can be that people can receive it?
I think asking questions is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Especially in the entrepreneur space and business and content creation. Most people like to present themselves as the sage on the stage, right? Yeah. I got all the answers. I know you don't know half of what you think you know, ever, any of us. But
I know nothing.
Me either,
For real.
And the more I learn, the more I find out.
The more I find out that I know.
That's why I need
I
that
feel
grace.
like some type of philosopher said that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah. I think I heard that quote.
Yeah.
But I think asking questions is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
People love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And if we learn to love to listen, then we will be able to meet people where they are. Whenever I meet somebody, I try to just plug into their language. How do you understand? Because, right, the biggest misconception about communication is that it's happened, that it's taken place. When we try to show up just to give information or to share whatever we know, right, we lose the opportunity to connect with that person.
Yeah.
So I try to go into conversations finding out about who I'm talking to. Where they are, what's important to them. Yeah. And then once I build that connection with them and allow them to share themselves with me, then usually people are more willing to be open to who I am, because I'm a lot. Wrapped in a 5'1" frame, right? I'm a lot. But usually when I make room for them, I find that people will easily make room for you. Even if they don't ascribe to your faith or your beliefs or whatever. I don't, if I'm in a pulpit, I talk like I'm in a pulpit. Yeah. Sometimes I get in trouble because I don't care to. Yeah. And I'm like, look, this is what it is, bro. Yeah. Y'all still in here using the these and thous, and we're all in the Passion Translation. Like we're in a translation that we can understand, right?
Exactly.
And if I'm on the street, I'm not using these and thous. Like, what up, though?
Yeah, straight up.
So I try to meet people where they are, find out who they are, make room for them, and usually once that connection happens, they don't mind me being myself, and I just come with Jesus. You gotta know, if you get me, you get a little bit of Jesus too. I ain't trying to beat you over the head or bombard you or take you to church with me Sunday. Yeah. That's between you and God, right? Yeah. But I am just not gonna not be authentically who I am. Yeah. And if it's for you, then it's for you. And if it's not, I'm still cool. I'm not offended. We could still hang on that level wherever we meet each other. Yeah. So common ground to me is the best way.
That's interesting, man. Because even like leaving it at that, but still being available to talk and to help and everything like that. Why, and it kind of goes back to the title as well, why keep the battle going for hope? Why still have hope for people that may not be receptive to the message? Why, when all seems lost, why keep going? why stick to the battle?
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Like,
I just started this not too long ago, but I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah, you are. I think when there's purpose on the inside of you, you have to find a reason to keep going, right? And when you have lost sight of purpose, it is my moral and my social responsibility to remind you that you still have one. Because that's why people lose hope, because they lose sight of, or they don't know that they are here with a purpose. There's a reason why God sent Kevin in 1980 or 1990, whatever you was like. There's a reason why you're here. There's people that need to hear you. There's people that need to be in your presence. There's people that are depending on you to show up and be you. You have purpose, right? Everything has purpose. And I think that we especially those of us who have that awareness that we have a purpose, there's a reason for me being here. I'm not just some lab experiment, I'm not just something that happened because my mom and dad hooked up one night. Like, there's a reason for me being here. And I think that when we understand that we have purpose, it's the thing that makes us get up. Some people say, oh, it's my kids. No, your kids have become your purpose. Some people say, oh, I just love what I do. I love to sing, and singing wakes me up. No, your singing brings healing. Your singing reminds people that they're human. So that's why when they hear your music, they cry. No, you have purpose. It's your purpose to sing those songs. And so I feel like that's why we always have to try our best to be hope-filled people and remind others who have lost hope. Or giving up on hope, that no, there's still a reason. If you ain't dead, there's still a reason that you're here. And it's not an accident. Now you just got to figure out what that is and then go do it.
How?
How do you figure out what that is, or how do you do it?
Yeah, both.
I'll take both for 200 hours. Yeah. For me.
Yeah. And is this would you say that that's your purpose as well?
Oh, helping people understand? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yes. Helping people to understand that they have purpose, and then helping them figure out what that is. Pro Eagle LLC. Yeah. Shout out to Pro. That's my business. Yeah, helping people to walk in their purpose, absolutely.
Special advertising break on Pro Eagle LLC.
Shameless.
Special little shameless plug, Pro Eagle LLC.
I will shameless plug my book and my business at any time. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I do. Right. No matter what avenue or lane that I'm doing it, that is my purpose. Whether I'm doing it from a pulpit, whether I'm doing it through my writing, whether I'm doing it through content or education, teaching people, it is my job to help remind you that you do have a purpose. And if you don't know what it is, let's help you find it. And then let's help you go for it. For me, finding purpose didn't start until I knew that God was who he was. I was spiraling in my 20s. I was out here, bro. I call it my BC days before Christ. Before
Christ, okay. All right.
But yeah, I was spiraling because I did not realize that I had a purpose and that God put me here for a reason. And that reason wasn't just to make a lot of money and die. That reason was to impact change and in the lives of other people. Whether they believe in him or not, and I think for me, that's where purpose starts, knowing that there is a divine design, and I was put here by divine design. It's easier to navigate finding that purpose when I'm asking the person who designed it, than it is to try to figure it out myself. Definitely, to me, purpose starts with knowing God, knowing that you got put here for a reason, and then seeking him to find out what that reason is. You know what I'm saying? Everything was...
Yeah, so it goes back to, like, what are the steps that I would take to find my purpose or to understand my purpose?
I think think that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's why people can't tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no one answer. Do this, do that. Everybody's roadmap is different.
Yeah.
You know, in the book, I talk about two Bible figures, Jonah and Gideon. Right? Gideon had his people had a relationship. Mom and them had a relationship with God, but I ain't seeing God do nothing in my life.
Right.
And then one day an angel shows up and says, "Yo, God has an amazing plan for you. He's gonna use you to deliver your nation." And my dude was like, "Nah, fam, you got the wrong person." Like, right, I'm the wrong guy. So over time, God starts to convince Gideon of his purpose. Now, Jonah, on the other hand, knew exactly what God wanted him to do.
Yeah.
God says, "Go to Nineveh. I know you hate these people, but tell them I will have mercy on them if they repent." Jonah was like, different. Nah, fam. I'm not doing that, you know? And so, while Gideon needed to be convinced, Jonah needed to be confronted, right? But they both had purpose in a plan that was much bigger than themselves, right? And so the first step to me to finding your path to purpose is humility.
Okay.
You know, Gideon had to humble himself to believe that he could be great, right? A lot of people think humility is cowering and lowly. That's not biblical humility. Right. Biblical humility is, this is what God says about me. This is who he says I am. I'm going to believe it and I'm going to walk in it, right? And sometimes that leads to amazing, great things. And you got to believe that that's for you. And you can't be feeling guilty because you have it or you got it. Or you know what I'm saying? You just got to walk in it. You got to own it. Big as it is, you got to take it and own it. And then on the other hand, you have the Jonahs of the world. Like, I know God got a calling on my life.
Yeah.
I know I'm supposed to not be out here in these streets. I know I'm not supposed to be in 5 different beds every other week. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you still go do your thing anyway. Yeah. Right? So Gideon needed humility to accept the greatness. Jonah needed humility to accept the assignment the way God wanted to do the thing, right? He ain't like the way God wanted to do it. Yeah. So I believe rather God got to confront you about your purpose, or rather God got to convince you about your purpose. The key to setting off on that path is humbling yourself.
Gotcha.
And just being like, all right, God, like you said, hey, show me how to do this thing. Because I ain't that smart. You know what I'm saying? That's my saying. That might not be yours. I ain't that smart. God. Show me how to do it.
Yeah. So. That's real. That's real. So let's change lanes real quick. Awesome. But we do have a few people on the live stream. So if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments below so we can kind of get those and keep the conversation going as well. Let's talk business.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, man. So, what you set any goals for 2025 of what you want to do, what you want to launch?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm putting together an e-course right now to complement the battle. The book. The battle. The hope battle book, for hope. Right? So I am working currently on creating an e-course.
How's that going?
Actually, it's going pretty good. Yeah. You know, and you know, it's not perfect. Yeah. One of my, like we discussed earlier, one of my biggest issues is editing, bro. The process takes so long. Like you have this idea and you're like, yes, let's do it, let's go. And then like 3 months later, you're like, do I still want to do this? Do I still want to do this? Yeah, because the process of getting it from here to out here, it's a lot. And so, but that's going good. We're creating some great content, giving people great information about how they can face their challenges, no matter how big, small, and how they can at the same time build resilience, right? Because Jesus is God, but he don't do it all for us, right? We need skills. And a lot of people think that, oh, that person just can do that because there's something that they got that I don't got. Yeah, they might have it. It's called resilience. And if you develop it, then you can do it too. Like you can keep going with whatever your goals or plans is. So that's the e-course. It's called Hope Anatomy. Hope Anatomy. So it's giving us those building blocks and showing us how to frame ourselves through resilience. So I'm working on that. I also have a podcast with my husband called the Ordained Love podcast.
There we go.
And we're launching new episodes later in the year.
Okay.
So we're recording and getting planning for that and getting those episodes recorded so they can be released. Micro books. Micro books. Because
tell me, explain that.
Social media has totally ruined the attention span.
Yeah.
And even myself. I used to, I read Roots, like Alex Haley's Roots. It was bigger than the Bible. I read that in middle school from cover to cover like that. I used to be such an avid reader.
Yeah.
And I don't know, child. Like, now I be like page 3.
Yeah. Straight up.
So I want to create these micro books, and I am going to create these micro books. They're not going to be more than 100 pages, but they're going to be packed with the necessary highlights and information that you need to develop yourself. I have 3 tracks. I have a business called Pro Ego LLC, and what we do is personal spiritual development. Okay. We also do a little business consultation. And so whatever area you're trying to grow and develop in, we want to get you the tools that you need to do that. And so that's where the micro books, especially people who are in entrepreneur space, they don't have time to really sit down and read. But I can knock out 75 pages while I'm at the gym on the treadmill, you know? So we're creating the e-course. We're creating the micro books. We got the podcast coming out in the first quarter of the year. And, there's like something else there. It's just not coming to. It's just not coming to me right now.
It's all good. So I'm actually, and we talked about it. I'm working on my book as well. It's called The Idea Blueprint, and I think I'm about 44 pages in at the moment, and I want to knock that out. And then even I've had some conversations on the show with some other aspiring authors as well. You got a book and it's printed and it's sitting right here.
And it's copyrighted. No.
And it's copyrighted. And you got hardcover versions and ebook versions and you're launching a course and everything like that. What are some tips to go from 0 to 100 real quick on a book to kind of get it done? Like, how did you formulate your mind? Because I think like you faced that battle. I faced it like to sit down and like actually pull together all these different ideas, get the concept together and everything like that to write a book. There's so many different components of like, man, I'm just trying to write my book. Man, what can I do? Like, do I put it on Amazon? How long should it be? Like, help me.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to have your strategy down.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest hindrances to writing your book is time management.
Yeah.
So while you're writing the book, it's almost like a relationship. It has to become your baby. It has to become your boo, right? And when you into a person, what do? You spend time with them, right? And so when it comes to writing a book, time management has to be a key priority. Rather that means getting up an hour early, going to bed an hour later. Thank God I haven't had a job since 2020. So I literally, because we live in beautiful South Florida, spend every day at the beach, staring at the ocean writing. That is not the ideal way to do it. But I would suggest finding the thing that breaks open your creativity. Rather that is music, or rather that is a scenic view. For me, it was a scenic view that helped me, the creativity just break open. And I was just in a zone writing for hours. 8 hours passed, and I'm like, man, I got a whole chapter done. Then later on, because time management now, I got a life, right? So I can't just sit on the beach all day. I had to start implementing AI. Not to get AI to do it for me or think for me, but I had to start using those tools, right? Rephrasing tools. Absolutely. As much assistance as I can. Talk to text. Now I'm not typing, I'm just talking. And then going back and editing, editing tools, editing software. So you want to use as much, everything to your advantage. Create creatively, getting yourself in a place where you're making the time management, doing things that will open up that creativity, and then taking AI and using it in a way where it is serving you and it is effective for you. Also, having a framework. Some people write their books organically. That's the way I wrote this one. I would probably not do that the next time because it's time consuming to be an organic writer. But having a framework, you might want to just sit down and jot down your chapters, create a skeleton. And then that way you have a roadmap. You know where you're going. You don't have to sit down and say, oh, I don't have it. And then also a creativity bank. So creativity banks, I create them. And so what happens is I might be in the car and I might have this creative thought. I'm going to record that on my phone. And then I'm going to plug it into Google, my Google spreadsheet. This was the creative thought that I had on XYZ.
Got you.
Now, when I'm in a space where I'm not as creative, where the juices are not flowing, I don't have to force it. Just go back to my...
You tap into your creativity bank, make a little withdrawal.
Exactly. I got a deposit, so make those deposits into your creativity bank. And those are just some of the tips and skills and strategies that I used.
So we got somebody, you don't stream on Twitch. So we actually do stream on Twitch, but for whatever reason, the link isn't working for this one today. But definitely check us out on Twitch, all the other episodes, and we'll probably upload this one to Twitch as well, to do a replay onto Twitch. So check us out on Twitch, KVL Media, on Twitch as well. So appreciate your comments. But are you on Twitch?
I am not on Twitch. I am sitting here taking mental notes like Twitch.
Man. It goes back to the distribution part of the idea blueprint framework is when you have such a great message, you want to make sure that you're reaching people where they are. Just kind of like similar to what you were saying. And there's a lot of different platforms that you can repurpose your content onto. So Twitch is one of those platforms. So as we're streaming right now, we're streaming to, I think, Facebook, and we're streaming to YouTube. But I also stream to LinkedIn sometimes. I stream to Twitch and to Kick sometimes as well. So you just have different audiences as well, and you're able to expand to those different audiences. And then we're probably going to take some of these interviews and repurpose it into smaller clips and distribute that on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts and just really being able to stream to a bunch of different platforms. So, but again, guys, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that to keep the conversation going, because this is a good one, go ahead and jump into the comments below. And actually, Twitch, I usually have my most engaged viewers on Twitch. They always come in, and it's just people that I've met since I started streaming, and they'll come in, they'll check, they'll ask questions and things like that. So, YouTube, be more like Twitch. Holla at us, man. Let us know what's going on. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitch.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Because this is good work, man. This is good work. So, so thank you for all those like ideas and tools to kind of help our aspiring authors kind of hit the ground running and get into that. Micro books. So I want to learn more about what exactly that is. I do something in my business I call a mini documentary. So you have like a feature length film to where you have a documentary, right? And a feature length film is maybe like a 90 minute to 120 minutes of a film, right? But a mini documentary or some of those things that we do, that could be anywhere between 90 seconds up to 10 minutes. To where you're condensing a message and you're making it very specific for the same reason as we're in this social media world, and we have the fish brain attention spans. Being able to consume content in ways like that in shorter forms. So what does a micro book look like as far as like the length or read time and things like that.
Yeah, micro book is something that I can, like I said earlier, I can read it on the treadmill.
Yeah.
No more than 75 to 100 pages, leaning more towards 75.
Yeah.
You want to condense it as much as you can, so that a reader can say, well, I'm at the dentist's office.
Yeah.
You know, let me, instead of scrolling, let me get some information. Absolutely.
Instead of just picking up a magazine that they have on the table, like,
absolutely.
I got my micro book.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then definitely when you said specific, being specific. So in the Battle for Hope, we talk about this battle. Mm-hmm. In a micro book, I would not talk about the Battle for Hope. I would talk about one idea, one principle from the book, and I would just expound on that principle. Mm-hmm. And then how do you work that principle? You know, how do you develop whatever skill or characteristic? And we would focus on that particular thing. And so you're getting specific information, right? Not just trying to sift through a bunch of information that you already know or that you're just not ready for, you know? So that's a micro book. And then making it available. One thing when I was writing The Battle for Hope, it was a battle for distribution, right? Where am I going to distribute the book? So I want to make the micro books available to not just on my website, because everybody might not, you can, www.proeagles.com, but making it available in places where people are shopping. Amazon is huge. Amazon is also one of the distribution places where there is least barrier to entry. So just making it available to people in a way that is convenient, making the reading convenient, not using difficult language or ideas, not trying to be so deep, keep it surface. It should be an easy read, and they should want to pick up another micro book and go, oh, that was easy. And I got the information that I needed. You want to make it digestible for the reader. So, yeah,
it's interesting, man. Like, I never heard of micro books before, but what it's making me think of is like how ebooks did a really big push, and they're like usually shorter versions. But I think having something tangible, I think there's going to be a resurgence of that.
Oh yeah.
I like to sketch things out. I like to write things down. I want to hold something in my hand and be able to disconnect from this.
Right.
And I think a lot of people want to disconnect from digital, and I think that's gonna be huge. Not only giving writers an easier way to share a message, but also bringing readers an easier way to consume a message, because
it's like social media for books, right?
Exactly. And like, because I would consume a lot of audiobooks as well, right? But one of the things that I found is that I'd be multitasking, and I'd be listening to a book, and I'd be multitasking, and then once I get my focus back to the book,
you done missed, like,
I realized I wasn't really hearing or listening to any of this, or I might have heard something. I'd be like, hold on, let me scroll back a little bit on this message, because that sounded like it should have been something that I heard. And I think there's this idea that people can multitask, but there's studies that show that we don't actually multitask. We just shift our focus very quickly to different things. But I can't have this conversation with you and read this book and check the comments at the same time. I'm shifting my focus.
Right.
So I think being able to have something that you can digest quickly, so that you can still focus on just one thing, while disconnecting from any type of digital platforms, I think is essential, because we are so used to shifting our focus constantly that having something that's short, easy to read, will hold our attention. We can actually get a full experience within that book. And I think audiobooks for me, although I've listened to a lot of audiobooks and I've got some really good information, I think listening to a book while I'm driving or in the middle of doing some work or whatever, I'm not getting the full message that the message deserves and that I deserve to get. So
Especially if you're driving in Florida, child.
Nah, come on, man.
You ain't listening to nothing.
Come on, man.
You trying to save your own life.
Come on, man. You might have an alligator running across the street.
Right.
These people don't know how to drive for real when it starts raining. Mm-hmm. Oh man. I don't see you on Twitch or Kick. That's why I wasn't here sooner. Man, Nico, I appreciate you coming through and supporting the channel regularly and joining in on the conversation. But yeah, man, like I said, there was something wrong with this stream when I went to go hit the live button. The Twitch and Kick and LinkedIn wasn't available on there, so I was like, you know what? I'm already running a little bit late with the scheduling, so let me just go ahead and hop on and get it started. But yeah, man, I do appreciate you, of course, coming through and supporting and dropping comments and engaging. If you do have any questions for Miss Yvonne over here, let them know. And like, what's been your battle for hope? Because I know we all go through things, man. Mm-hmm. So we got a few people on the stream right now watching. So if you guys can share what's your battle been with hope, to make sure that you're staying engaged, making sure that you're staying in your purpose, making sure that you're doing what you need to be doing. Drop some notes, man. Drop some comments so we can keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
So we talked about you. Mm-hmm. We talked about the people that you want to reach. We talked about how you've been sharing your message. Mm-hmm. We've talked about how to keep and stay engaged in that battle when you're in the trenches and the goals that you have for your business. The A of the idea blueprint, because we got identity, distribution, engagement, and acquisition, right? Okay. So idea broken down. All right. So the A of the idea blueprint is acquisition. Mm-hmm. Another word is how to drive people to take action. Mm-hmm. And what is the action that you want them to take, so that you can, like, we all have this vision of giving back and like ultimately changing the world, right? Mm-hmm. So what is that call to action that you want people to take, and how do you build that community and tribe to be able to support the things that you're doing? Because it takes revenue to be able to continue to do good things. And that's another thing with not to get canceled. It takes money.
Right. Well, we know.
And a community of money to be able to like do something big. So all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. There are a couple of things, there's a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, buy-in. Yeah. You gotta walk it like you talk it. You gotta be sincere. The call to action, well, before I even get there, to me, consistency. Yeah. Right? Because if I'm not showing up, trying to create that community and then show up to engage that community, I'm gonna lose the community. I like I said, this entrepreneurial space, being an author is not an easy space to navigate. And I find that when I take breaks and when I'm not consistent, when I don't show up the way I say I'm going to show up, bro, my community takes a hit every time, right? So, number one, just showing up. If I'm going to show up, my call to action would be that you do the same, right? And don't show up for me. Yeah. Bro, show up for yourself. Yeah. Like, show up for yourself. That is the main thing. If you're in a hard spot, ain't no knight in shining armor coming, bro. Yeah. Like, get up. That's your call to action. Are you going to just sit there for 38 years? Or are you going to get up and do something? Even if you got to grab a wall and get assistance, even if you got to crawl, to help you get up. My call to action is show up. Show up for yourself. Whatever it is that you say you want, right? We want all kinds of things for all kinds of reasons, but whatever you say you want, take a step in that direction. Yeah. Right? Take a step in that direction. And as for me, my commitment is to show up, that when you step up, you'll have a hand up, right? You'll have somebody there to be able to say, like, you got this.
Yeah.
You know, I see you took that little baby step, but I'm so proud of that baby step. Keep baby stepping until you can take, strides, and then, stride until you can take leaps. So I think that's the main thing, showing up as the content creator, and then showing up as the people who need that content. Do what you say you're gonna do. So, and then just be consistent.
So how can people show up for you and support you along this journey of spreading this message, spreading this word, and being able to help the masses? How can people show up for you?
First and foremost, you can consume the content that I'm putting out, right?
And how will they do that? On
they
Amazon?
Will do that, but yeah, absolutely. The book is available now on Amazon. You can go there and get whatever way you like to read, electronically or having something physical in your hand. Definitely check it out on Amazon. You can go to proeagle.com, Pro Eagles with an S. And it's actually pro-eagles.com. And check us out there. You can reach out to me on the socials, which is It's Your Girl Yvonne on IG, and Yvonne Belcher. I know that's like the cardinal sin. Everything's supposed to be the same across it. Right. I ain't do it yet. I ain't show up. But it's Yvonne Belcher on Facebook. And reach out, show up for me in the communities, engage when we do the podcast, Ordained Love podcast, bro. Engage, and then that's it. That's how they can show up for me when you see me in the street.
There we go.
Holla,
For real.
Yeah.
Man, this was a really good conversation. I don't read that much books, even in Finnish. Yeah. So Nico is actually from Finland. And
nice.
He'd be coming through and supporting, and everything like that, man.
What's up, Julie?
Julie's in the building. What's going on?
Julie's in the building. Talented dancer, talented. Actually, that's why we're creating the e-course for people like Nico. We're going to eventually roll out a continuity program where people like Nico who say, man, I don't read, like, hey, get online, you listen. You consume your content through audio and visual. So get on there, get the e-course. We're gonna go over some of the same principles and strategies in the e-course, and so I believe in meeting people where they are and adjusting to their learning styles as well.
So as part of the last kind of conversation of our situation, I remember I said something about like any last words, and one of my guests was like, I don't like that. I don't like any last words. That's what
I ain't about to die.
Yeah, I ain't about to die. I'm not on death row. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, until next time, what would you want to leave people with? What are the principles specifically that we get for this, or whatever else you would want to
let the people know? I guess this should be important. I don't want to rush to say.
Yeah, take your time.
But I think what I want people to walk away out of this conversation with is two things that we touched on earlier. You have a reason for being here. You have a purpose for being here. And on your way, whether you got it together or you still trying to figure it out, as you go through that journey, life is going to whoop your butt sometimes, Life is going to beat up on you. Life going life, as the young people say. And when life lifes, you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Rather, you are going to lie down and let life beat you down, or if you're going to get up and run again, walk again, soar again. And my encouragement to you is it is totally worth the effort to get up and try it again. When people say when life throws you lemons, make lemonade. Don't just make lemonade. Make lemon meringue pie, make lemon pudding, make lemon soup, make lemon water. Take every opportunity.
Lemon soup, though?
Lemon soup, bro. put some sugar
I
in
ain't
that
never had no
thing.
lemon soup.
Look, it's lemonade with a spoon.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see.
But that's
I'ma
the truth.
see.
You try different things. You keep trying. You keep trying. Well, I tried this. Well, then try it again. And if that doesn't work, then try something different. The key is simply just to do not give up. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on the thing that's been put in your heart. And even if you're not a person of faith, do not give up on learning, because God will reveal himself in many different ways. So that would be my message to people. Like, just keep going, bro. Somebody in this world needs you. Don't let them down.
Appreciate it. And in the spirit of keeping going, I'd like for you to write down your message in my book. I want you to ask a question to kind of keep the conversation going.
All right.
From you to the next person.
Okay.
Whatever you want to ask. And I think my biggest thing is to tell these stories, show how they're connected, and continue to keep these conversations going, so people can really understand that we're all connected. We all have the same fears. We all have the same dreams and desires and goals, or similarly, and just make the world more of a connected place, and have people and giving people an outlet to tell their story. Again, this was Yvonne, and we've had an amazing conversation. A couple of the key takeaways that I got from this is, man, it's just keeping the faith, keep going, being able to tell your story and share the message with the people that need it most. Miss Yvonne, I appreciate you for coming through.
I appreciate you for having me on, bro. This is my honor. Pleasure. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. All right. Until next time.
Till next time.
All right. Peace.